a quick recap of the conversation that we had yesterday. I am saying ISO 27001 is broken into two segments. One, which is the clauses, which runs from clause number 1 through clause number 10. Effectively, clause 4 to 10 ही होता है. 1, 2, 3 doesn't have any deliverables for us. Then you have the section which has annexures. The newer ISO 27001 has broken the annexure into 4 units. One, which they are listing down organizational controls. Second, through which they are listing down people controls. Third, where they are listing down the physical controls. Fourth, where they are listing down the technological controls. While in conversation yesterday, I mentioned to all of you that what ISO has done in the past decade is that they have pretty much standardized how all ISO standards flow. What I mean by that the clause structure for all ISO standards is become absolutely the same. So every ISO clause, number 1 is scope. Every ISO standard, clause number 2 is normative reference. Every ISO standard, clause number 3 is terms and definitions. इस पे कुछ भी auditable, कुछ भी required mention नहीं है. We'll look at it once. Actual requirements will start with clause number 4, which is the context of the organization. ISO understood that there will be organizations that are looking at implementing ISO 27001 and other standards also. तो पहले के ज़माने में बहुत complicated हो जाता था कि let's say we are looking at implementing ISO 9001, ISO 27001 and couple of other standards also. हर में clauses हैं. Referencing became very difficult. That is why they have now put together a common structure so that context of the organization may one could handle the QMS piece, the ISMS piece, and the other standards also, whatever standards you are implementing. Simple thought, everyone. So let's quickly jump into the standard now. Clause number 1, scope. This document specifies the requirements for establishing, implementing, maintaining, and continually improving an ISMS within the context of the organization. This document also includes requirements for the assessment and treatment of information security risks tailored to the needs of the organization. The requirements set out in these documents are generic and are intended to be applicable to all organizations, regardless of type, size, or nature. Excluding any of the requirements specified in clause 4 to 10 is not acceptable. You cannot take exclusion from the clauses. तो क्लॉज 4 to 10 में जो मेंशन्ड है 100% कवरेज का एक्सपेक्टेशन है. Clause 2, normative references. The following documents are referred to in the text in such a way that some or all of their content constitutes requirements of this document. For dated references, only the edition cited applies. For undated references, the latest edition of the reference document, including any amendments, apply. So ISO standards, when they are mentioned, there would be two things. Either I will write ISO 27001, 2022. This is where I'm mentioning the year in which it was last updated. So either the standard mentions dated references. So wherever they've mentioned the dated reference, जो भी एडिशन उन्होंने साइट किया है वो अप्लाई करेगा. Whenever you see undated reference, whenever you will see undated reference, वहां पे जो लेटेस्ट डॉक्यूमेंट होगा. तो लाइक हियर दे आर मेंशनिंग ISO 27000. आपको ढूंढना है ISO 27000 का कौन सा रेलेवेंट डॉक्यूमेंट है, लेटेस्ट कौन सा डॉक्यूमेंट है, वो डॉक्यूमेंट आपको यूज करना पड़ेगा. सिंपल थॉट एवरीवन. Clause number 3, terms and definitions. For the purposes of this document, the terms and definitions given in ISO 27000 applies. ISO and IEC maintain terminology databases for use in standardization at the following address. दो लोकेशंस आपको दिए हैं, इलेक्ट्रोपीडिया का और iso.org का. If you need certain definitions, you can reference these places. हमारे इस्तेमाल का सारा terms ISO 27000 में mentioned है. During the course of the padhai, I will work with you extensively, trying to push you guys towards referencing ISO 27001 exhaustively. हाँ, वो वहां से डाउनलोड जैसा कुछ नहीं है, वो लिस्ट होगी, कॉपी पेस्ट कर लीजिए. Now the actual piece. Context. Context of the organization. 4.1. Understanding the organization and its context. The organization shall determine external and internal issues that are relevant to its purpose and affect its ability to achieve the intended outcome of the information security management system. Note, determine these issues referring to establishing the internal external context considered in clause number this for ISO 31000 2018. ISO 31000 is a beautiful risk management document. उसके डॉक्यूमेंट में क्लियरली मेंशन्ड है external internal issues का list. You can use that to reference and identify internal external issues. So clause number 4.1 is only asking you to determine the internal and external issues vis-a-vis the information security of the organization. तो अगर आप एक इम्प्लीमेंटेशन प्रोफेशनल हैं तो आपका काम ये लिस्ट बनाना है. अगर आप ऑडिटर हैं तो आपका काम ये लिस्ट एग्जिस्ट करती है कि नहीं करती है ये ऑडिट करना है. सिंपल थॉट एवरीवन. So like we did yesterday, हर मैंडेट का ऑडिट चेक पॉइंट बनाते चलेंगे, so that we have a better understanding of what has to be done, what has to be delivered on our part as a auditor from ISO 27001 standpoint. Yesterday we broke that into stages also. So please कभी भी ऐसा हो जिसमें स्टेज की क्लैरिटी ना हो तो प्लीज सीक क्लैरिफिकेशन फ्रॉम मी. एक और इम्पॉर्टेंट एलिमेंट था, because we will go into the system as auditor. So who should be the audience? Auditee कौन होना चाहिए? उसके लिए I've also started to mention department. Ideally I should not do it, but just in case आप implementation professional हैं, तो आपसे expectation क्या है? What is the document that you need? List of internal issues, list of external issues. These are the two documents that you will have to create if you are an implementation professional vis-a-vis the clause number 4.1. 4.2, understanding the needs and expectations of the interested parties. It says the organization shall determine A, interested parties that are relevant to the ISMS, B, the relevant requirements of these interested parties, C, which of these requirements are addressed through information security management system. Question बहुत straightforward है. I'm simply copy pasting the standard का requirement once. Now I will break this into auditable elements. Has the organization determined the interested parties question number 2, has the organization so these are the two auditable elements here. Question number 3 कह रहा है that statement number 3 कह रहा है that अगर इसमें से कोई रिक्वायरमेंट है जो इंफॉर्मेशन सिक्योरिटी के अगेंस्ट में नहीं है, तो we may not want to consider that, right? एक रिक्वायरमेंट है एम्प्लॉय की that he gets paid on time. Out of scope for us. Fair? Simple thought, everyone. People, any questions on this? Clause number 4.3, determining the scope of ISMS. The organization shall determine the boundaries and the applicability of ISMS to establish its scope. When determining the scope, the organization shall consider the external and internal issues referred to in 4.1, Requirements refer to in 4.2 interfaces and dependencies between activities performed by the organization and those that are performed by other organizations. The scope shall be available as documented information. Always, when you are in your pursuit to implement audit ISO standards, like we were discussing yesterday, look for this word. जहां कहीं भी ये टर्म डॉक्यूमेंटेड इंफॉर्मेशन मिल गया, वो हमारे तो एक एक्सरसाइज तो हमको ऐसे भी करनी है दैट वी हैव टू मेक अ लिस्ट ऑफ ऑल दी डॉक्यूमेंटेड इंफॉर्मेशन. स्टेज 1 ऑडिट में सबसे पहला ऑडिट इसी लिस्ट का होगा. इसमें अगर कुछ छूटा तो वो मेजर नॉन कन्फॉर्मिटी है एंड योर सर्टिफिकेट विल गो अवे. इसलिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है दैट यू हैव अ लिस्ट ऑफ द डीआईज एंड दैट यू हैव बाय डिफॉल्ट ये सारे डॉक्यूमेंट्स आपसे मिसप्लेस नहीं होने चाहिए. So here, all you are looking at is defining the scope of ISMS. When you are looking at doing the scope definition, like I was mentioning yesterday, दो बेसिक चीजें. एक तो जो प्रोडक्ट सर्विस आप प्रोवाइड करते हो, उस प्रोडक्ट सर्विस का मेंशन होना चाहिए आपके स्कोप स्टेटमेंट में. जो फिजिकल लोकेशंस आप ऑपरेट करते हो, उन लोकेशंस का मेंशन होना चाहिए आपके सर्टिफिकेट पे. लेट्स से एन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन करंटली प्रोवाइड्स 5 सर्विसेज. ये उनका चॉइस है कि इस 5 में से वो सिर्फ 4, 3, 2 या 1 सर्विस को इन स्कोप रखे फॉर इंफॉर्मेशन सिक्योरिटी. अगर मैंने सिर्फ एक ही सर्विस स्कोप में रखा है तो मेरा ऑडिट एलिमेंट सिर्फ वही एक एलिमेंट हो जाएगा. सिमिलरली, इफ आई ऑपरेट आउट ऑफ 10 लोकेशंस, इट इज एब्सोल्युटली माय डिस्क्रिशन कि इस 10 में से आई कैन पिक अप 2 लोकेशंस. Look at this certificate. इंडस वैली पार्टनर्स कंपनी का नाम है. एक एड्रेस उनका नोएडा SEZ का है. अनदर एड्रेस इज फॉर मुंबई लोकेशन. लोकेशन कवर हो गया. ये उनका सर्विस है जिसके लिए वो ISO 27000 सर्टिफाइड है. So when you are mentioning the scope, I am saying दो चीजें तो मैंडेटरी हैं. एक आपका प्रोडक्ट या सर्विस और दूसरा आपका लोकेशन. स्कोप में नहीं मेंशन है. करेक्ट. ये ड्राफ्ट है. फॉर सम रीजन मैंने ड्राफ्ट सर्टिफिकेट खोल लिया है. नहीं तो यहां पर सोआ मेंशन्ड होगा. जो ISO 27001 का सर्टिफिकेट होता है वो स्टेटमेंट ऑफ एप्लीकेबिलिटी के बेसिस पे होता है. तो आपका सोआ का वर्जन नंबर विल बी मेंशन्ड ऑन योर सर्टिफिकेट. करेंगे. आएगा ही आएगा डॉक्यूमेंट स्टेटमेंट ऑफ एप्लीकेबिलिटी. 4.4, the organization shall establish, implement, maintain, and continually improve an ISMS, including processes needed and their interactions in accordance with the requirements of this document. कुछ specific demand नहीं है. Broad, high level ज्ञान statement है. Nothing for you to do. from a clause number 4.4 perspective. एक बार quickly everyone go through your clause number 4. Ask me your questions. Then we move to clause number 5.